and this is the Abuja Network Center, where we shall be taking a look at activities in the Federal Capital Territory. Yes, we know there's a new sheriff in the Federal Capital Territory. We're talking about the Minister of the FCT, Barrister Nyesom Wike, and since his assumption of office, a lot has been happening in the Federal Capital Territory. We're talking about a continuation of infrastructural development, demolition of shanties, ensuring that the FCT is safe and secured for the residents in this country, in the nation's capital. All these and more are activities being carried out by the present administration of the FCTA. And to discuss these activities and more that the FCTA is looking at embarking on to ensure that residents are safe and they are well taken care of in terms of ensuring that things work out well for them. When you go to bed, you can be able to sleep well. That can only happen when certain elements are being taken out of the FCT. Yes, of course, I have with me Dr. Peter Olomoji. He is the Secretary, FCT Command and Control. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for having
me. And I must say congratulations for your award. Well-deserved award. Congratulations on that. And my prayer is that more will come your way this year and beyond. Now let's hit the ground running. FCT plant demolition. People will be asking, all the demolitions this year, is it not enough? Why more and more demolitions?
Well, you know, like the Honorable Minister have stated and continuously states that demolition exercise will have to go on. Why do we have to do this? Is because the master plan of FCT has been distorted by people who do not want the progress, let me use that word, of the FCT. Because when you allow illegality to continue, it has its own ripple effects in the nearest future, which we've been experiencing. So, and just like you have issues of flooding, you have issues of blockage of waterways and the rest. So for the administration to continue removal of these illegal structures where they are not meant to be, it's a way of sanitizing the entire environment. Then you should also know that if you do not carry out that, there's no way you can check the upsurge in shanties that are springing up every now and then in places they are not meant to be. So the minister have said it publicly, and the enforcement team are always there to ensure that we enforce that.
Okay, talking about removing shanties, cleaning up Abuja, so to speak, are you not worried that this also will bring about the increase in criminal activities? Because people will say that people who are being displaced and people who do not have what to do, maybe by way of taking them off the shanties, demolition, their structures, that they may resort to crime.
Also, if you refuse to do the needful, then the crime you are trying to fight against will also come back to you. Because when everywhere is choked up, there is no free access way, government cannot do infrastructure in places they are meant to be. It still boils down to resorting to crime in that environment. So by and large, most people appreciate the effort of the administration, because where you need to have a safe city, then the law must be obeyed. Where people refuse to obey the law, then we are breeding what? More criminal-minded people. You understand? So when some people always talk about, oh, this removal of shanties is going to contribute to criminality within the FCT, we disagree with that. In fact, I can tell you without mentioning word that it has also improved the level of security within the system. Most people know the right thing, what to do, but they deliberately do the wrong thing. And when you allow people doing the wrong thing continuously,
what will that be? It will lead to anarchy in the system, because it will get to a time that you cannot even control anybody again. Everyone will become lord to his or herself, you know. So I disagree that the removal of shanties and the rest will increase criminality. We have looked at it, we have analyzed it over time, and what we have seen in those places we have removed these shanties and illegalities, it has brought about sanity to those residing there. You remember, people come into FCT because they cannot get a land to build. They decide to go to ungoverned places to start building shanties and erecting illegal structures. And this has contributed to the high rate of acts of criminality within the system. So it has not reduced, it has not increased the criminal activity. Rather, the continuous removal of these shanties have brought down the crime rate in the FCT.
You just talked about people come to Abuja because
Yes.
they do not have a land to build. They will just go to anywhere, they call it virgin land, and start up a structure. But again, you are also aware that Abuja is a civil service state, just so to speak. This is where the activities here, mostly civil servants, they live in here. And most of the civil servants cannot afford to pay rent in the highbrow or in the city center. So they find themselves in this squatter settlement, where some of them may not even have erected a building, but they are renting, and then demolition comes. So what's your take on that?
Abuja is a city that is created for everybody, both the civil servants and even the business entity. In fact, those in the private sector even have upper hand more in the FCT.
No, I am talking of the civil servants, because these are people that work for government.
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Now, if you look at it critically, the development of the FCT is meant to be in phases. But over time, the influx of people into FCT after 1991 pronouncement by the then military head of state that the ministry, department, and agencies should move into the FCT has brought about a surge in the demand for accommodation, decent accommodation, and FCT provision for housing system for those coming in. FCT cannot do everything. Take note, the ministries coming in are federal government ministries, and places have been earmarked for people to build. FCT has a master plan, and every part of FCT has what to do, what you are meant to do on such places.
Okay, if I get it correctly,
Yes.
places have been earmarked for ministries, department, and agencies.
Not for ministry, department, and agencies.
Okay,
but what I'm trying to tell you is that in the master plan of FCT, you have where is earmarked for residential, you have where is earmarked for commercial. Yes, and the good thing about the federal capital is that we have neighboring states. Suleja is there, which falls under Niger State. You have Maraba, which falls under Nasarawa State. Also, people tend to go into these places to get accommodation. Anywhere in the world over, the city center is not always enough to have residential building for everyone. You have people going far out of the city center, and that's why you have development in Kubwa, in Dusi, at Gwagwalada, at Pape, and the rest. You understand? So all these things boils down to a synergy within the system that everyone will have a decent accommodation. But it is not the way we think it should be.
But in
most
these
of the
places
time,
that you have mentioned,
yes,
we've also seen demolitions being carried out in these places.
Yes.
Pape, Dusi, and yeah, we've also seen the demolition carried out in these places.
Do you know why demolition is carried out in these areas I've mentioned? It's because there's a master plan. There's a plan for each location. For example, now let me go to Dusi Alaji. We have places that have been earmarked for residential. People have decided to go away from those places, thereby getting land from the local chiefs. And that has become a source of concern in the FCT. The local chiefs does not have the power and the authority to sell land to you.
Is the local chief aware of that?
They are 100% aware of that. In fact, since 1976, Land
Use Act
does not bestow the sales and purchase the sales of land to any local chief
except the government.
And in the FCT is the president and represented by the minister. That's the only person that have the authority to allocate land to you. But now, the menace of some of these chiefs by selling land to people where they are not meant to have also contributed to the illegality and the shanties and the distortion of the FCT master plan. And that is why, if we want FCT to be the pride of Nigeria, then these corrective measures must be taking place. And what is that corrective measure? We have to continuously remove those illegalities, those structures that are not meant to be.
I would like to ask, is there any sanction for any chief who sell or allocates land to anybody? Is there sanctions?
Now, you know, when you talk about sanction, there is no system that is not governed by law.
Okay.
The challenge we always have majorly is that the non-indigenous will approach these people, buy land, you understand, in places they are not meant to have it. Now, when you come to remove, they tell you it's the local chief. Can you mention or take us to the local chief? They are not ready to go that length. Because when you talk about prosecuting these local chiefs, somebody must.
So you mean in all of this, you have not been able to pinpoint one local chief that has allocated land?
No, the administration have been able to pinpoint. We have, you know, we have the area council service secretariat, which deals with the area councils, and efforts are being made by the secretariat to ensuring that these local chiefs are educated, are discouraged from doing what is not right. Now again, the area council service commission, also, service secretariat also have the mandate to also sanction those found wanting. You understand? I will not want to be mentioning names here, but the needful is always being done.
So the responsibility of sanctioning
yes,
lies on the purview of the
area council service secretariat. But again, we have to also discourage the non-indigenous from patronizing. These people have their farmlands. The indigenous have their farmland. When you put pressure on them that you need the land, what they do is that they give out their farmland, they sell their farmlands to you. And most of these non-indigenous that also purchases this land, they know they are into illegality.
But now somebody watching you will say, then what is the problem if somebody decides to sell his farmland?
No, you are not. Farmland is not meant to be sold, because when you sell,
will have to decide
if you sell your farmland, then what you are simply contributing to the system is creating food insecurity. Because no, you have it does not mean we should continue encouraging it.
Okay.
Something must be stopped at a particular point in time, and the correct thing should be done. So when you encourage people selling their farmland to non-indigenous that even know that they are not meant to purchase from a chief in the first instance, naturally, let me tell you something. One basic thing the administration have not started implementing, which will soon start being implemented, is that anytime we come to remove your illegal structure, the law says that you have to pay for the cost of that removal. Yes, the law says that. But you know, if the administration starts to do that, some people, hey, they don't have feelings. But you that have decided to go in the path of illegality, do you also have feelings? Because your act of illegality contributes to the increase of criminality within the system.
There have been accusations of people around your circles, among the task force team, accusations of bribery and corruption. And now that you're here, I would like to ask, do you really have such cases? And if you do, what have you done to those involved?
Well,
because there are people who say, people who come to them and say, okay, when you give me certain amounts of money, I will make sure that your structure
is secured. Now, let me tell you something. There's always accusations and counter accusations. In the tax team, we've not gotten anybody coming up to pinpoint
one person.
a particular name. I remember there was a time we went to Mabuchi, N12 Road, Mabuchi, where you have this vast land of illegalities going on there on a road corridor, a highway road corridor, and we went to remove it. Do you know one of those affected had to walk up to us and say, look, a day before you people came here, some people came to collect money from us. I'm coming. I want to explain something. He said, some people came to collect money and said, can you identify them? She said yes. And it was even on your station. She identified those within that locality that collected money that they are going to bribe the FCT administration staff. And do you know that these people collected those money, kept their share, and also wanted to go and bribe? It was even the deputy director of development control that they wanted to go and bribe. And that one said, look, we are doing our work. We don't receive money from anybody. And he himself said it out on the public domain. And that person that was guilty also accepted that. In fact, we had to take the person to the police for further investigation. So when they talk about the tax team being involved in that, I don't think there's any. But if anybody has any proof or anybody you know, you can always walk up to us and we'll do the needful.
We can see that development in FCT is ongoing, and it is not something that is going to stop anytime soon, because this is practically the eye of the country. Anybody coming into Nigeria has to use FCT as a yardstick to determine how well Nigeria is structured. And then in the light of this, we are looking at how to sanitize this particular place and particular environment. So are you not worried that in the midst of all this demolition and everything, people still continue in this same path? You come to a place, you demolish structures, you give it 5 months mask, and you come back, activities are still ongoing. What have you done in terms of sensitization, creating awareness, so that people who do not know what not to do should know? And even the local chiefs that you're talking about, those that are not well educated, how well have these people been sensitized?
Yes, number one, part of the sensitization is what ITV have been doing for the FCT administration. I must really use this medium to commend the effort of ITV, because anytime we come on board to talk and you ask us such questions is another means of sensitizing the general public in the FCT. So we commend the management and staff of ITV for that. That is the first one. Secondly, we also have meetings, regular meetings with these local chiefs through the area service secretariat. And even those that don't understand English, they interpret the import of what they are doing to them.
In these meetings that you have with local chiefs, do you also have the indigents, as in the youths of that of the communities with them?
There's no way you will hold meetings with the chiefs.
And even non-indigents as well. There's
no way you will hold meetings with them and not invite the youths, because they have the youth leaders. You have to come in. You have the indigents.
I'm talking about youth leaders. We know youth leaders, they don't always come out to see everything.
But you know,
I am talking about a situation whereby you have like a town hall meeting with almost everybody, both the indigents and non-indigents, where they will ask questions and get
in fact, we're talking about town hall meeting. You know that the Honorable Minister FCT just rounded up a town hall meeting from within the that covered the 6 area councils, and people were given time to ask their question and bring up their challenges, which the minister himself, he took that, he went around all the area councils and he answered every single question. And one thing
on security.
No, when you talk about security, you cannot talk about security without talking about other issues. Because now, during those meetings, as they talk about security, the chiefs and the people residing within that area can still talk about bad road network, talk about infrastructural issues, which the minister also gave the assurance that all this will be looked into. So it's an holistic town hall meeting, that the minister had, and that's a good platform. Then also, we also have other platforms that the FCTA administration have been using to reach out to people, the residents, the non-indigens, the indigens. But our major challenge is that the non-indigens should understand that the indigens have rights in where they stay. The indigens will have to be relocated, will have to be resettled before they can be removed from a particular location. But when you now go into that same location where they are awaiting relocation, resettlement, and you decide to purchase land there, I can assure you that your piece of land or whatever you have done there is going to give way, because you are not meant to have it there. Just like what happened at Duse Sagwari. I want to take us back. Now we realize that people have started building even up to the mountain top. And you should know that mountain top in any locality or in any environment has what is meant for. It's not meant for people to start building residential. We went there on a profiling mission some few weeks ago, and we realized that most of these people also told us they got this land from the chiefs. And already the Honorable Minister have said anybody caught doing involved in any form of illegality is going to be sanctioned and prosecuted accordingly. And that is why we want to tell the non-indigens, please and please stop buying land from chiefs. They cannot secure you. That land is illegal. There is no way you can go to development control and ask for building plan approval.
And they will give you.
And they will give you, because that is illegality on its own.
All right, thank you very much. I will take that as your last word, because we are looking at time and it's almost time for us to leave the studio to draw the curtain on this program today. Thank you very much for that enlightenment. I have been talking to Dr. Peter Olumuji. He's the Secretary, FCT Command and Control. You want to know anything about demolition, about security, and any other thing that has to do with the inner workings of the Federal Capital Territory, this is the man to talk to. Thank you very much for being part of the program.
Pleasure.
And you have heard from the horse's mouth, do not purchase land from local chiefs, because they cannot guarantee the safety of your structure. On this note, I say thank you for taking our time to watch the program today. I am Charity Tanko. Stay tuned and continue to watch ITV for more programs and update on news. Have a lovely day.